I don't know about you, but my YouTube recommendations have been flooded with Manhunt videos. I don't know why. But after seeing it so much, I decided to play it for myself, finally. Growing up, I only ever heard about how controversial the game is, but never if it was actually any good. So is it? Released in 2003 and developed by Rockstar North back when Rockstar made more than one game in a decade, Manhunt feels like they were just trying to make the most outrageous game as possible, to piss off overprotective parents. I don't really want to go over this game being banned and censored, like it seems you are obligated to if you make a video about Manhunt. You already know that stuff, this game is pretty notorious as it is. So I'm just going to focus on the actual gameplay. So what's it about? You play as James Earl Cash, who was sentenced to death before the start of the game, but instead someone called the director fakes his execution, and James wakes up in Carcer City, where he is forced into a deadly game with the goal to survive. The director is constantly filming and wants James to be as violent and brutal as possible so he can make the best snuff film ever. The story is thin and intentionally grim. It feels like a low-budget horror film, and I quite like it. Don't get me wrong, it's not a great story, but it works for this game. The game wants to cover stuff like media exploitation, moral decay, or violence, obviously. For me personally, I don't feel like the game had too much to say about these topics. Like the whole violence thing. I can see the game trying to say we're becoming too desensitized to it. It's kind of shown through the gameplay. At the start of the game I was looking forward to seeing the notorious executions, but by the end I was just kind of over them, and I was trying to perform the quick ones. I don't think the game was promoting violence or critiquing it. The media definitely read into this too much. They were trying to be edgy like lots of games at that time, at least that's what I got from it. Like take the protagonist James, he isn't much of a character, he doesn't say a lot and you don't get much of a backstory for him. He's more of a blank slate protagonist. You know he did something terrible to get him on death row, plus he shows little emotion when committing such vile acts. It feels like they want someone edgy to play as and not much else. The director on the other hand is possibly the best part of the game. He is voiced by Brian Cox, and I genuinely believe he is the reason I like this game as much as I did. I really missed him when he wasn't there in the later levels. He is constantly in your ear encouraging you to kill. It really seems like he gets off on you murdering folk. Brian Cox delivers some fantastic voice lines. You only ever hear him over the radio, and you can tell what a sleazebag he is. He will insult you if you are taking too long. Throughout the story it seems like he's actively trying to get you killed. He is also very sadistic. There is one level where he has James's family held hostage. If you get seen they die. So I was stealthy and saved everyone. Then a few levels later he has them all executed just to piss off James. It's a bit fucked and it makes him memorable. The whole world and atmosphere is a bit fucked to be honest. Carcer City is a shithole. Everywhere is run down and dilapidated. Violent gangs with creepy designs roam the streets. Corpses are strung up across the place. It feels like this is the prison from Escape from New York, but no, it's the actual city. The grim feeling you have exploring the city is added to by the VHS found footage vibe the game has going for it. Cutscenes and executions look like they are shot from a camera with static and VHS lines over the top of them. It has sound effects to match like camera switching or zoom in sounds, and a clunk sound like the camera is being switched off when the cutscene ends. It really feels like you are playing through a snuff film. I really dug this vibe. I think the age graphics also help with this. Animations and textures definitely show their age, but I think this helps sell the overall style. The sound design is crucial for atmosphere and the vibe of this game. There isn't much music throughout the game. The tracks that did play are suitably dark and have an underground feel to them. A lot of droning and string sounds which will put you on edge. The game relies more on ambient noises like footsteps, rain or fire burning to get the vibe across. This really helps to create an impressive, horrifying mood. Well, we kind of talked about everything else, let's get into the meat, the gameplay. It's mostly just an average stealth game. You'll have to get to the end of each area whilst killing off all the enemies. This will be a lot easier to do if you don't get seen. Let's start with the stealth. This was before you could just crouch and be stealthy. You have to stick to the shadows if you don't want to be seen. Your icon will turn dark once you're in the shadow. This means enemies won't be able to spot you. You will also have to be careful of how fast you move. Your footsteps will make noise, so you'll have to walk slowly when approaching an enemy. The type of surface you walk on also matters. Stuff like gravel and glass will make a noise once stepped on. The minimap is incredibly useful helping you in the stealth department. It will tell you how loud you're being, what way the enemies are looking. You can also move their bodies about. If you do get caught, you're always better off running and hiding than trying to engage in the combat. It deliberately sucks. You can lock on and perform light and heavy attacks. You can block by holding down. If you press both attack buttons together, you can grab an enemy and do high damage to them. But this isn't the easiest thing to land. That's it for the combat. It sounds simple, but it's not in your favour. You do not do a lot of damage, enemies will block a lot of attacks, and spam their own attacks. It's not fun. Honestly, most of the time I would just let them kill me rather than fight them. It is also annoying because they take longer to kill you if you don't fight them, which is just frustrating. Oh yeah, and if you have to fight more than one enemy, just give up, you're done. Such a slim chance you will beat 2 enemies. This obviously encourages you to be as sneaky as possible. While sneaking around, you will find a variety of weapons to help you out. They are split into 4 types, each with their own colour. You can only carry one of each at a time. Yellow are used as lures. You can throw these to distract enemies, or throw them to stun enemies. Green are small weapons like plastic bags or glass shards. These can be used once to perform an execution, and then they break. You have to have a weapon to perform an execution. Blue weapons are medium sized like hammers or knives. Handguns also count. These don't break after execution but make a little bit of noise when performing. Then finally, red are big weapons like baseball bats or assault rifles. These do the most damage but are loud and most gory. I really like how you can see all the weapons on James's character model. He will put blue weapons on his hips and red weapons on his back under his harness. It's a neat detail. The weapons all feel similar to use, like you're not going to tell the difference between a hand axe and a knife. Certain weapons like crowbars and knives are used to open locked doors. These are normally mandatory and add to the gameplay slightly. Like there is this one mission where you have to find a crowbar, and of course it's on the last enemy you kill. The weapon variety is mostly there for the different executions. So when you are sneaking up on an enemy, you'll have to lock on. Your indicator will start off white, then change to yellow, and lastly red. The longer you hold it, the more brutal the execution will be. White ones are quick and offer less points. Yellow and red are way more violent and offer more points. I like the risk of having to stay behind an enemy longer for a red execution, which will reward you with more points, but it can be incredibly frustrating when they turn around for seemingly no reason. It is a real shame points are a bit meaningless. They are just used to unlock concept art and 4 bonus levels. So do the executions live up to the hype? Firstly, sometimes the yellow ones are way more violent than the red ones, which just feels weird. Most of the executions are good. If I played this back in 2003, I could imagine this to be pretty realistic. But playing it now, we've all seen worse. I'm not knocking the game for this, it's just how it is. They are violent, brutal and fun to watch, but I wouldn't say I was ever shocked for the most part. I will say the baseball bat red execution did hit for me though. I think it's because of the chunks that go flying off when you cave the enemy's head in. Like the chunks stick to the wall. It's pretty rad. The only other thing that got a reaction out of me was the sniper headshots. It's so gnarly. Their heads get obliterated. Chunks fly off the wall, and what's left of the head looks messed up. This particular thing held up for me. Overall, I've been fairly positive towards Manhunt. This is where I'm going to be a bit negative. The fucking enemies. They can be so frustrating. They frustrated me so much because of how inconsistent they are. So there is this mechanic where you can hit a wall to make a noise, and the enemies will run over to check. Which is cool, I like the mechanic. It's how I got through most of the game. My issue is the enemies don't come to the same point every time to investigate. This one checkpoint I was stuck on for an hour. I would hit a wall in the same place to lure the same enemy so I could take him out. Sometimes he would come all the way to the noise, sometimes he'd come halfway before turning back, sometimes he'd bring 2 guys with him, and sometimes he just wouldn't investigate. It's super annoying. The best part about stealth games is coming up with a plan and trying to execute it, which is hard to do when the AI doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Sometimes they just turn around for absolutely no reason, or see through walls, or they never split up so you can never take them out. Sometimes they can see you from across the map, other times they can't see you when you're clearly in front of them. All this leads to more frustration than it should have. Another issue I had, and I blame myself for this, the execution button is the same as the attack button. So I would sneak up on an enemy and I would swing instead of starting the execution phase, leading to the enemy turn around. This could have been avoided if they were on different buttons. A minor annoying part is the mission variety. When it's just killing an enemy it's fine, but they just throw in some stuff for variety. I think I was quite lucky I didn't find the escort missions difficult. I tell the escort to stay in the shadows and they did. Then there is the crane section. I don't think this was playtested. You have to pilot a crane with a magnet at the end. You pick up a fridge to drop on enemies. This bit was awful. It takes multiple drops from the fridge to kill enemies. Plus the fridge has a mind of its own. It can just go flying out of reach, meaning you have to start the section again. Like, look at this, why is this possible? The most pissed off I got was with the gun sections. For the most part I found them fun, but they do kinda suck. You can lock onto an enemy to shoot at them. If you press the right stick and are close enough, you can aim at their head to kill them instantly. This was fine in earlier missions, the later sections are very gun focused. This is where I started to get aggravated. The lock on is finicky. It's way harder than it should be to switch between targets. You always seem to lock on to the wrong one. You could try free aim, but you have to lock on, then press it again to free aim. So you'll probably be dead by the time you manage to do that. Almost every gun has a second delay before you can fire it again. This doesn't apply for the enemies though, they can just spam shots at you. Their aim is also immaculate. The range in the guns also annoyed me. I would always have a shotgun for this bit in the garden. Sometimes I could kill the enemies in one shot at this distance, other times it would take 4 or 5 bullets. I just want consistency. Then they introduced enemies with automatic weapons, and this is it, you're basically done. They so much as look at you and you're dead. God help you if there's more than one of them. I had to cheese this one part on the train level. Like, it's never impossible, but there were some checkpoints I was stuck on for like 40 minutes. The last few levels are brutal. Sometimes it feels like luck when I manage to get by. Ultimately, I'm glad I finally played Manhunt. I love the atmosphere, the vibe, the feel of the game, and the Brian Cox. Just the actual gameplay was often more frustrating than fun. I really enjoyed the tension this game creates, but it's slightly too dated for me to give it a glowing recommendation. If you like stealth games or want to experience a piece of gaming history, definitely give it a go. You're just going to need a lot of patience. Time to rank it. I'm feeling number 27. Though it was annoying at times, I think what Manhunt was going for suited me more than Trover Saves the Universe. Like, I could see myself coming back to Manhunt at some point for the tense gameplay, but not really with Trover. But I can't put it above A Short Hike, which was just fun from start to finish with a great movement mechanic. So yeah, new number 27. I just realised they put Brian Cox in this because he was in Manhunter. Brilliant.